Hey there, Heat, and greetings everyone. It is indeed time for more classic literature. And by classic literature, I mean a strange story that washed ashore in a bottle. A forgery, if you will. We're going back to the third part of Purgatory of the Golden Witch, an Umineko no Naku Koroni fanfiction. I'm going to switch over to the gaming tab and we'll get started. Whoop, I forgot to turn off my... Give me a second. There we go. As you can tell, I was having a little bit of OBS difficulty and VTube Studio as well. So there was a little bit of setup before the stream, but I think I'm good now. I think I have a theory. We've been having some difficulties with Live 2D recently. And I think it may be the fire behind my head that's causing it. So if it is, I'll bulb up at some point, and that might fix it. But we'll see. You know, worst case scenario, we can always fall back on a PNG. Anywho, I hope everyone's had a wonderful start to your May. We had a pretty good one ourselves. We did a little bit of drawing with Tubular Paru. That was a lot of fun. That was on Sunday. And now we're back at it with more visual novel read-alongs. I'm not sure how much more of Purgatory of the Golden Witch we have left. There's the murders are well in progress now. If you haven't been watching, you may want to go back and watch the VODs just to get caught up. But suffice to say, I believe we're through the first and second Twilight now. We've seen all kinds of people murdered, including the classic tag team of Shannon and Cannon on the second Twilight. We had most of the parents on the first Twilight, not all of them. And it's been it's a very clear board already, and there's still more to come. Yeah, that's actually a great idea. Why don't we do that? Hold on one second. Alright. Here's our wonderful visual novel screen, and we will go to... If we load the game, I think we can look at it from there. The last time we played was mid-April. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. So yeah, if you look at the characters list, you can see here we lost on the first Twilight Kraus, Jessica, Hideyoshi, George, Rudolph, and Kyrie, leaving a kind of a patchwork of various parents and children left. We also lost at least Shannon. It says Cannon isn't yet, but I'm pretty sure we've already put that together as well. If it wasn't a witch that murdered the victim, how can you explain that massive ass print? Good question, Discord. Well, I guess that's another mystery yet to be solved. Also, hey, Elna. Good to see you. Yes, Beatrice is back to her witchy ways. Even though this is a story told from a very different viewpoint, we still have those classic Beatrice murders, Beatrice laughing all along, and Battler trying to put it all together. This time with some help from a new player called Virgilius. Also, hey Lampshade, good to see you. That wacky Beatrice is back at it again. Alright, let's get straight back into the action. We'll see how much we can cover today. I've got at least 2 or 3 hours to read. So we will see how far we get. There's still plenty of time for you to lose the life of your favorite character. Depending on who your favorite character might be. Okay, I'm going to scroll back just a little bit so we can kind of remind ourselves where we were. I believe that we just jumped from Battler's viewpoint over to Virgilius' viewpoint. Virgilius is currently over in the shed with all of the others. The reason he's there is because a note was left sort of implying that there would be bodies moved to the shed, but the pattern of the previous murder seems to imply that they might be come up empty here. So Battler was kind of laying a trap for the murderer himself. It's going to be the dog ending where no one actually died and it was a sitcom controlled by a dog director all along. Would that were true. You know, I really actually, I've heard a very interesting theory recently. I was looking through some other stuff that the writer of this actually posted, and they were saying that there was a fun fan theory that Captain Kuwabata, the guy who takes people back and forth from the island, was actually the murderer, and that he constantly like comes back here to check and make sure nobody's found out it's secret. And I think there was actually like somebody put together a whole theory crafting about how it all makes sense that Captain Kuwabata is the one that did it. But I don't think that we're going to see that pop up here, but it was pretty interesting to think about. Oh man, if you could go back to the days before this was all finished and read some of the just bonkers theories that were out back then, it's a treasure trove. Yeah, Captain Kuwabata wouldn't have any motivation to do it unless he somehow managed to abscond with the gold. Mm-hmm. Anyways, let's get back to reading. I didn't mean to divert our attention too much to Captain Kuwabata. As expected, there's nothing here. Virgilius walked around the shed along with Ava, Genji, Nanjo, and Goda, who helped him look around. I've heard of those people in the Unico fandom, shippers, right? No, that's something else. That's something else. It's so funny though, if you ever look on like Umanico Twitter, like check what the latest popular pictures are, you might be thinking, people are going to draw Beatrice and Battler, and they do. Or people are going to draw Shannon and George, and they do. But I tell you, what's out there more than anything is people drawing the different ants together. Like people drawing Ava and Natsuhi together, people drawing like, it's just crazy. There's so much of that stuff. If you're into that. Okay, I'm going back to the... Virgilius walked around the shed along with Ava, Genji, Nanjo, and Goda, who helped him look around. We should go back as soon as possible so Battler-kun won't remain in danger by himself for too long. Hopefully, he already called to neutralize the culprit by now. This time, the culprit didn't leave anything in the shed to tell us to go back, so I believe they assumed we got the idea after the first time. Different strokes for different folks. That's true. Why would they do it in the first place? Making us go around like this for no reason. Kumasawa spoke grimly as Virgilius helped Genji lock down the shed again, picking up the umbrella as the group started making its way back. It was just a piece on the board, but he did know one thing. Leaving Battler to guard the door provided them 2 pairs of eyes at 2 objective, important key points. That would provide them enough evidence to corner the culprit in case they showed up. You guys are back. Battler, standing exactly where he had been standing before they left, frowned when he saw the familiar group making its way back to him. Did no one arrive while we were away? No one. I didn't even hear anyone in the hallway until I heard your footsteps. Virgilius clicked his tongue, clearly unhappy his plan seemed to have failed after all. See, it's not so easy detectiving, Virgilius. Maybe you should be a little easier on your sister. Meanwhile, Ava reached over to the door, opening it again. I want an excuse to hum The Great Detective Days. It gets stuck in my head all the time. What? Battler stared inside with horrified eyes. That was impossible. After all, wasn't he guarding the door the entire time? Why? Where? He couldn't even find the words to describe what he was looking at. Instead of Shannon, the person who was lying lifeless on the floor with a stake in his chest was Cannon. Next to him was nothing but minced meat. The Beatrice aliens theory. I see. What we can't blame on magic, we instead blame on alien interference. Chunks of minced meat mixed with some of Shannon's clothes. There was no mistake about it. Hey, free meat. Come now, I don't think Goda's cooking is that awful. We don't need to resort to that. Her hat, her apron. That was impossible. He had been guarding the door the entire time. How could anyone enter and do something like this under his nose? Was that minced meat over there really Shannon? He felt like he was going to vomit just thinking about it. Badler-kun, what is the meaning of this? Weren't you guarding the door the entire time? I was. No one came. There was no one over here. I didn't open the door either. Then how can you explain this? I can't. Well, you better start. That's the whole point. His voice came out weaker than he expected. He was shaking. How could it be possible? Was it through the window? It doesn't seem to be locked. But that would be insane. Just for the sake of making such a messed up trick? This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh, and they become one flesh. Whoever the killer is, it sounds like they're a Fate fan. Enter the Natsu. What the hell are you talking about? Book of Genesis 2:23 and 2:24, the creation of Eve from Adam. It's the part of the verses that appear inside the magic circle. You cannot see this, but Shannon and Cannon are now together again. Beatrice's magic brought them together. I don't give a damn about your verses. Are you expecting me to believe Shannon Chan? Okay, so as a reminder, we have a counter here on my channel. Anytime I say Chan instead of Chan while reading, we get a free detonate. So if you ever hear me do it, feel free to just point that out and I'll blow my own head up. Just let me know. I narrowly avoided it that time. Are you expecting me to believe Shannon-chan became minced meat behind that door while I was guarding it? No, Badler-kun couldn't have opened this door anyway. Eva-san has the master key, and we all went together to the shed. Dr. Nanjo, please check if Kanon's master key is in Kanon's possession. The magic circle, which coincidentally Kraus copyrighted. That's right. Kraus was actually a big Fate fan himself, I bet. That's probably where all the fortune went, wailing on FGA. Nanjo kneeled by Kanon's body, careful not to touch the grotesque chunks of meat on the floor, and checked Kanon's pockets. As expected, the master key was there. I have my master key. I didn't leave it and was with you the whole time. The same goes for me. I was with you in the shed the whole time. I am the same. I did not leave my master keys behind. We only have 5 master keys in the mansion, 1 for each servant. The 3 servants showed their keys to everyone. Along with the key Nanjo had just retrieved from Kanon's pocket, and with Shannon's master key in Ava's hands, that made a total of 5 master keys. You know, it's a pretty bad game to be a young person right now, isn't it? We've already lost Canon, Shannon, George, and Jessica. I think that pretty much just leaves Battler and Maria as the young people here. Hey, Cece, good to see you. There's been a murder. As often there is. That would mean no one had a way to open that door. Unless... Does Jessica-san's room have a specific key that can unlock it besides the master keys? Right, it does. She's always either carrying it with her or leaving it by her bed in that bowl over there. Ah. Kumasawa pointed inside the room towards the drawer where they had found the previous letter. The bowl she spoke about was empty, but next to it was a new letter. This time, Battler was the fastest to reach the drawer, almost ripping the envelope open, narrowing his eyes at the text. Praise my name. The hell with that! Virgilius, on the other hand, started opening the closet doors and peeked under the bed. Eventually, he stood up with an irritated expression, biting onto the nail of his thumb. I should have done that beforehand. It's possible the culprit even hid in the room and escaped through the window while it was locked. I should have searched the room beforehand. He muttered it to himself, searching in the same places he had already investigated once again. Battler-kun, I trust you, but I think that in order to clear this one out, we should at least check if Jessica-san's key is still in Jessica-san's possession. They tried to mess me up there. They tried to get me that detonate by switching San and Chan there. I keep almost tripping over it. Don't worry, I understand. You can check my pockets right now to make sure if you want. Battler flipped his pockets inside out to show they were all completely empty, aside from the one charm he got from Maria, which he took out as he showed his possessions to Ava. Ooh, you really treasure this charm. That'll definitely keep protecting you. Yeah, maybe that's why our great witch didn't bother showing herself in front of me. That sick bastard. Ava-san, please hand over the master key. Let me be the one to check Jessica's key, please. At the very least, let me be the one who does that. Ava didn't answer, but handed the key to Natsui in silent agreement. There was a lot of tension in the air as the group made their way to the other doors. Natsui had been standing in front of the door with a conflicted expression. Disturbing the dead like this felt wrong, but she knew there was no choice. They had to know if the culprit had access to that key in order to understand what had happened. Even though she didn't want to see her husband and daughter in such a horrifying condition again. In her mind, she wanted to remember them happy and smiling. She wanted to remember them unharmed and safe. But that was no longer possible. With shaking hands, she unlocked the door to Krause's study, pushing it open. The door made a creaking sound as it opened. If Krause spent more time in his study, none of this would have ever happened. Eee! Natsui dropped the key from her hands, stepping back before falling down, covering her mouth in horror. Inside the room where Krause and Jessica once were, there was nothing left. Just like Shannon, there was only minced meat and some clothes. Bloody, raw meat parts scattered where there was once a corpse. A jacket, a tie, things that were mixed up with the blood and scraps that were left behind. It was like someone was eating, munching, and gnawing on their corpses until there was nothing but scraps left behind. Raw, bloody flesh that one could no longer recognize was once a human lying there. Battler heard Ava screaming, and could also recognize from the noise that she was struggling with Virgilius. I think I've frozen again, haven't I? Hold on one second. Sometimes it'll pop back, and usually I have been associating it with my fire being on. Ah. I did my darn control hit. Give me one second. Sometimes we have technical issues, unfortunately. If my VTube Studio doesn't start working again, what we'll do is switch over to the PNG, and we'll just run off of that instead. Okay, well, ignore my being paralyzed with fear here. We'll just say that's what happened. I'm completely stunned into silence. And if I don't appear back in just a few pages, we'll switch to PNG instead. Alright. So, let's continue on. I'm gonna have to figure out some way to downgrade my model so that the fire doesn't keep doing that. Because that definitely seems to be what's causing it, is turning on my fire mag. It doesn't feel like I'm coming back, so I think what I'm going to have to do is... let me try one thing real quick. I'm going to quickly turn off my VTube Studio thing. Yeah, PC doesn't like my cool effects, unfortunately. Maybe that's why more people don't have like a persistent fire effect. Or maybe they've just figured out ways to optimize it that I don't know yet. Alright, I'm going to blip out of reality for just a moment while I try to figure this out. Give me 1 second. I've temporarily returned to hell. Alright, let's try to turn the camera off, back on. Try one more thing, and if that doesn't work, I'll just switch to PNG. Thank you for your patience. I think I may be back. Okay, let me try switching back over. Hold on 1 second. Alright, let's try it out again. We'll keep my bulb on this time, and if it messes up again, I'll switch to PNG. So that we don't have too many breaks in the action. After all, we are at a rather climatic point at this particular juncture, where everyone appears to have turned into minced meat and been eaten or something. Kind of hard to figure out. Alright, back to it. I feel like my mouse wheel is trying to make this go backwards for some reason. So instead, I will rely on the Enter key. Alright, here we go. He was trying to stop her from opening the door to Hideyoshi and George's room, probably to savor the same sight Natsuki had already seen. Battler could only walk backwards until his back hit the wall, and let himself slide down, his eyes hollow. The last time he saw his old man, he was already dead. He was covered in blood in a grotesque scene, but his face was peaceful. Does it mean he's in the same condition now? With nothing but raw, disgusting, bloody pieces scattered all over, unrecognizable, not even bearing a human form anymore? Why? Why are they beyond recognition? I can't even tell there was a human there. Ah! Battler-san, please don't describe it like this. Don't describe it like this. This is exactly how it is. There's nothing but scraps of meat. Should I at least be grateful they were already dead when they were treated like this? How can it even be possible? Why? Why? Damn it! Damn it! Didn't you say you'd keep the disgust level low for my sake? I changed my mind. You seemed so calm and peaceful despite my ritual, so I decided I had to show you how limitless my powers are. Natsui-san was acting suspiciously the whole time. Perhaps before I went to the restroom, she had time to go and meddle with the crime scene. Don't worry about it. Ever since the discovery of the first Twilight, Natsui tailed after you the whole time. She didn't have time to go and meddle with any crime scenes. Aren't you happy you're getting such a VIP treatment from the mistress of the house? Then what about Shannon-san or Cannon-san? They had plenty of time to do it, right? Shannon and Cannon didn't kill anyone. How cruel. Battler was always so hesitant to blame anyone he knows, but it must be easy for you, right? Ryu. Then do you want me to reason there's another person besides me who reached the shore of Rokkenjima and kills everyone? Is that how lame you are? How rude. I'm way more elegant than that. Before you joined in, there were no more than 18 humans on Rokkenjima. Furuto Virgilius only increased it by 1 person, and no other people reached the shore. Aside from Furuto Virgilius, the number of people on this island is exactly the same as it was in the previous games. Was there some dead time in which the culprit could sneak in despite Battler's guard? We still don't know where Jessica-san's key is. Even your reasoning starts getting almost as pathetic as Battler's, Virgilius. From the moment the door was locked by Ava until the moment Ava opened it again, the door wasn't opened even once. Aren't you trusting your partner? It's you I don't trust. I don't want it. I don't want to suspect anyone from my family. I can't do it. I just can't. But you do realize you don't have a choice, right? Good. You're a good person, so it's hard for you to suspect people you love. But you don't have any other choice at this point. I told you, we can only trust ourselves at this point. This and the red truth. It's our only lead. No, I don't want it anymore. I don't want this sickening game. I've had enough of it. Are you giving up already? Snap out of it. Virgilius grabbed onto Battler's jacket aggressively, looking furious. Weren't you babbling about how much you won't give up no matter what? You're the one who lets her win. If we win against her, we'll be safe, right? We'll leave that cursed island and return home. This is the miracle we need to reach. You want to detonate? Okie dokie. Here we go. Ka-chow. Now I certainly hope the detonate doesn't also mess up. But it's less assets, so it really shouldn't have tried. If anything, I've shed some of my extra weight. I've become a leaner model, more svelte, as they say. Okay, well, I'll stay detonated for a little while. Is that the miracle Lady Burncastle promised you? That's none of your damn business. I was just curious. Is that all you have right now? I expected some more interesting reasoning. Shh, you sick show-off. That so-called mince meat of yours isn't even real human meat. The culprit just moved the corpses away and placed it to make it look like it did. After the 6 died, no human moved them to another place. Beyond corpses. The vegetarian corpse option. No one could have seen it coming. Oh boy, that would be a funny red truth trick, wouldn't it? What? Should I repeat it again? After their deaths, no human moved them to another place. That also means that your theory that Jessica, George, and Kyrie's corpses were placed in the rooms also failed. After all, Jessica, Kyrie, and George didn't die in the rooms they were found in. But that's no problem for me. After all, with my magic, I can move them, tear them to pieces, and make them minced meat as much as I want. Didn't you say you were both going to defeat me together? Yeah! Ryu, didn't you say that the red truth is supposed to get us closer? Right now, I feel like I'm getting further and further, and the truth feels further than ever. Beatrice is really hungry. Yeah, next time she should just do Burger King, I think. Not everybody wants to do Burger King, but it's a preferable option to all of this. Battler was clenching his head, and Virgilius gritted his teeth in irritation, glaring at the witch who stood at the other side of the table. Ah, these are some really good expressions. These are fantastic expressions, both of you. I've been waiting for this. Battler had already given me so many nice faces in a span of 1.5 games, but waiting for the frustration of another stubborn man never fails to bring me joy. Hey, are you going to cry for me as well? Cry for me, Ferrudo Virgilius. I want to hear you cry. Why aren't you crying? Go ahead and cry. Yeah, ha 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 ha. Cry about it. Okay, I'm going to switch back to my undetonated self. But feel free to detonate me whenever you miss that old plume of smoke. And then I, too, will be part of the third Twilight, whenever that happens. I like this Umineko trap. I still don't understand. Battler was sitting on the couch, holding his head with his eyes shut. Along with him, there were 5 other people in the living room. Rosa, Maria, Ava, Natsui, and Virgilius were present. All the survivors besides the servants, Kinzo and Dr. Nanjo. The servants went to the servant room as a group in order to keep each other safe, leaving the rest of the people in the living room. Despite the illusion of safety when with other people, there was nothing but a heavy feeling in the air. The window wasn't locked, so there's still a chance the culprit made the switch under our noses. They probably knew we'd assume they were going by the same pattern and made a backup plan. I should have told you to wait inside the room for the culprit so they wouldn't notice you. Virgilius sat in front of some of the papers where he had drawn the layout of the 2nd floor. It irritated him to no end. There had to be a proper way to explain it. Going from one room to another through the windows is dangerous, but not impossible. As a teenager, Mother used to lock me up in the room as punishment. I was too angry to listen, so I decided to try and climb through the window to the next room over, just in spite. You never told me about it. I didn't want to give you any ideas. Sometimes I did try to act like a proper big sister, and now it's only the two of us. Eva-san. Still, I guarded both while standing in the hallway. If someone snuck to the next room over, I probably would have seen it. Unless they started from another room much further than Jessica's and moved through the windows outside just to avoid me. That's crazy. Or it's possible that they waited there before we all arrived. Weren't we all together by that time? Yoshimiya Kenzo is still missing. As he spoke, Natsui slammed the table with her fists. Did you come here just to keep blaming people from our family for murdering each other? How can you be so cruel? Natsui-san, I'm sorry, but Virgilius-kun is right. At this point, we can't remove suspicions from anyone, not even from father. Natsui glared at Rosa, who flinched a little bit before looking away. Didn't Eva-san confirm it herself? Father didn't leave the room since last night, so there was no way for him to do any of it. I didn't have time to visit him today since Genji called me immediately to see the other doors. How convenient for you. I put the note just before I went to the guest house. Does it mean you didn't even go to question him about the letter from the witch last night as you said you would? I passed by my room and felt very unwell, so I ended up falling asleep before being able to do so. I planned on notifying him first thing in the morning instead. Boy, nobody's keeping Kenzo in the loop. He's just still in there thinking it's an everyday, ordinary conference. Just waiting for the whole thing to blow over. In other words, we can't even confirm that by the time Eva-san put the note in the door, Kenzo-san was even there. What are you implying? It's possible that Kenzo-san is in another place right now. Another room or another location altogether. We all think he's in the room, but he can walk around freely, doing as he pleases. Why are you so fixated on blaming him? Why are you so fixated on defending him? Your husband and daughter have just died. Ryu-san, that's enough. It's natural she'll want to defend her remaining family members. Still, if father is in charge of all of this, it's very possible the servants are working with him as well. But if they are, why did Shannon-chan and... Ah, God, I did it. No, wait, I did it. I made it. I didn't say the forbidden word. But if they are, why did Shannon-chan and Cannon-kun die? Adler sank in his chair, glancing blankly in front of him. But Julius was right. The only person who could go around freely and do all these things was Kenzo. He couldn't think of any other possibility right now, but still. Why? Why would he do it? Why killing his family members? Didn't he care at all? Did he hate them all enough to kill them? Ooh, this is not a work of a human. There's no need to think about it like this. After all, everyone can see it's a witch who did it. Ha, that's right. We've been ignoring this completely. Ooh. Virgilius' eyes glinted a little, as if he had reached some kind of an understanding. He let out a dry laugh, holding his head. This is so stupid, almost stupidly misleading. Even choosing the sacrifices like this, we keep asking the wrong question. The wrong question? What wrong question? No, what is the right question then? That's easy. Who has an interest in creating an illusion of a witch? We keep thinking who has a motive to kill these people, but it might be all wrong. I think the chosen people don't matter, but rather the way of presentation. So you're saying the choices don't matter, but rather how it was done. It's very possible. After all, the culprit is taking big risks and gambles just in order to create the illusion that the murders were done with magic. We're talking about a culprit that possibly climbs around from outside the mansion, or takes time to draw extra circles wherever they act, which might be very time-consuming when you're on the run. There are a few types of reasoning we can think of to explain it. Virgilius stood up and started walking around the room, pressing his hand to his chin. It's not the first time in history serial killers are using trademarks. In fact, some serial killers found it thrilling that people knew it's the same person who committed all the murders, and some even got annoyed once other killers tried to imitate their style. You're probably talking about serial killers like Jack the Ripper. He's probably the most famous one. His specific trademarks and reasons remain a mystery to this day. Precisely. And on top of that, there's an argument over the number of his victims. Some suggested that other killers during that era adapted his killing style, making it even harder to trace the original killer. So our culprit has motivation to work harder just for a trademark. Why? They could just be a psychopath, right? Still, even if they're not, they get excited knowing we're deluded by the illusion of the witch, while getting satisfaction from watching us struggle. They get excited from this game of tag, and perhaps their grand prize is actually for us to catch them. After all, they worked so hard in order to leave us clues and letters. It's almost like it's a game in their eyes. What kind of twisted person would make serial killing a game? They probably think a witch would do so, which is why they take the alias of Beatrice. Trademark laws are pretty brutal. I hear Jack the Ripper is pretty intense in court copyright here. Yeah, I guess he's gonna need to get some good legal representation, I would say. It might not be easy. Maybe he can get the great ace attorney to do it for him. You know, come to think of it, just an aside for a moment, I was thinking about the fact that when I first read Umaniko, this idea of like a killer witch was completely foreign to me. Like the idea of just a scary witch that just murders and like tears everything apart. But now when I think about it, witches took on so much more of a brutal connotation after I read this story. So now when I hear a witch, I'm like, Beatrice, we're about to see something really bloody and violent. But before that, I think I was like, Halloween is what I was thinking of. Just nothing very scary. It's just funny how much this novel changed my connotation. With such an alias, they can also throw away the burden of being the twisted person they are and become a witch. Ooh, Virgilius knows nothing about magic. Magic can also be beautiful and warm. After Beatrice revives, she's going to revive everyone, so we can be together in the Golden Land. Alright, then please ask her to leave an apology letter, saying, I'm sorry, but I really need to resurrect. Please be patient until I'm done with my brutal killing ceremony, and then I promise to revive you all. Then maybe I'll reconsider. Ooh, when you don't believe in magic, the magic disappears. It's because you don't believe that the ceremony looks like this. Ooh, ooh. Excellent. See, we just got some new information. I also thought of Halloween when my friend described it to me. In retrospect, it was an awful summary of the, at that point, shit. Yeah, Umanika seems like a completely different thing when you're first going through the first chapter. Whereas Beatrice's apology twiddling. Oh boy. What if Beatrice left clues in the form of tweets instead of messages? What would that be like? What a terrifying thought. If I don't get 20 likes and retweets when this post, another murder will occur. According to Maria-chan, magic requires belief, so I'm going to assume our culprit thinks the same. In fact, we don't necessarily need to believe the culprit and the person who alters the crime scenes are the same person. Wait, so you mean it's possible the murderers or the person who creates the scene are different people? Yes, that's definitely a possibility. Even if you wish to keep Ushiramiya Kinzo-san's hands clean from murder, we can't deny the possibility he uses the murderer in order to help the illusion of the witch. How Beatrice apologizes to all of those I murdered and offended. I'm sorry you feel that way. We just had a difference of opinion, a falling out. Beatrice just disappears for a couple of weeks and then comes back to reinvent her brand. Don't you think so, Natsui-san? Virgilius gave Natsui a sweet smile, making her glare at him with hatred. I do not mean to sound rude, but from hearing Jessica-san and some of the servants talking about Kinzo-san, he seems to be very interested in black magic. Even if you don't want to believe he's capable of murder, we can't deny he's capable of drawing some magic circles. In fact, who would be more knowledgeable than him in drawing such things? Kraus, his progeny. We've come full circle. Maria-chan, are the magic circles accurate? Ooh. Maria glared at the man, clenching onto her bag. Ooh, not telling you. Haha, don't worry, you already did. Maria-chan easily recognized each magic circle. I believe that if there was any inaccuracy, she would have pointed out immediately to show her wide knowledge while we stood there. After all, she was quoting from the Bible and recognized it right away, so the pentacles were definitely the work of a professional. Your knowledge was very useful, Maria-chan. I'm thankful. There's no escaping it then. We have to go and question Father. Virgilius-kun is right. Even if he's not the culprit, it's very possible he's a collaborator. Or let the culprit borrow his knowledge and experience. Why would Father do such a thing? This is why we need to ask him. We'll check the inside of his room, and if he's not there, it's very possible that Virgilius-kun is right, and Father is, at the very least, a collaborator. Therefore, simply by checking if Kinzo-san is in the room or not, we can deduce whether he took part in it or not. Man, I was really hoping Virgilius would say even this level of reasoning is possible for Virgilius. It sounded like he was about to go into it when he did the therefore. After all, if he's still in his room, we can definitely say he's innocent, and Natsui-san's heart can rest assured. On the top of that, we might get some crucial information anyway. Isn't it great? We can't assume that just because Father decided to leave the room without informing anyone, he's immediately an accomplice. Right, but finding him in the room will clear any suspicions. It's a very simple logic. Battler stood up as well. Natsui Oba-san, how can we enter grandfather's room? Let's prove him innocent, or at least clear this mystery up. I believe Genji has the key to his room right now. We should pass by the servant room and take the key from him. Excellent. Let us go, shall we? I'm trying to put a little extra stank on the excellent, just because I'd imagine he kind of takes some satisfaction every time he says it. If he's anything like his sister. The remaining servants of the Ushiramiya family were all sitting in the servant room, a gloomy aura filling the room. No one really knew what to say about the discovery of the two younger servants who died. So the room remained silent most of the time, and the only sound that filled the room was the rain that was drumming on the window. Kumasawa, who seemed to be the one most affected by Shannon's death, sat down, still fidgeting and messing with her apron. Her expression was sad, almost regretful, and she refused to raise her eyes from the floor for a very long time. Eventually, Goto reached her side, placing a warm teacup next to her. Here you go, Kumasawa-san. It'll make you feel better. Thank you. Kumasawa put her hands over the warm cup, glancing at her reflection in the tea. They were still young. They had long lives ahead of them. As Nanjo spoke, it was as if he voiced the thoughts of all the people who were present in the room. After all, while all of them were already adults, Shannon and Cannon were still young. And despite that fact, out of the servants, they were the ones who were chosen to be killed. It's just too cruel. After all, weren't George-sama and Shannon-chan? Bringing it up now will bring nothing more than pain. Let them reunite in peace in heaven. You're right, but still, I wonder if there had been a way for me to do something better for those children. I wonder if I had done something wrong, and that maybe, if I had figured it out, they could have been happier. You were like a mother to them. I believe you gave them everything you could, Kumasawa-san. Please, don't blame it on yourself. Besides, there was no way for us to have known the culprit would go after them. We don't even know how strong the culprit is. Goto moved uncomfortably in place. As much as he didn't want to admit it, he was still shaken up by the idea that he had almost ended up guarding the door instead of Battler, which meant that he'd had a chance to encounter the culprit, all by himself. After all, no one would have wanted to fight against an unknown enemy. Especially when you couldn't even know if it was a witch or a human. Just then, the door made a clicking sound and opened. Ava was the one who stood by the entrance, and behind her were Virgilius, Natsui, and the rest of the remaining Ushiramiya family members. You know, colored me a bit surprised. I thought we were going to rush straight into another string of murders here. Usually when you see all the servants sitting in a room together, it's a pretty bad omen for them. Genji, we need you to open the door to Father's study. Genji lingered, looking at Natsui, who only gave him a defeated expression before looking away. Understood. I will join you at once. Oh, we'll come too. We should all stick together in a big group, right? most likely. It'll give the culprit a harder time attacking us while we're in smaller groups like they did up until now. They keep outsmarting us, so we should be careful." With those words, the group left the servant room, making their way to the 3rd floor. The ritual is proceeding just as planned. After 8 sacrifices already offered themselves to you, which will be the next one? Who will be gouged and killed in order to revive the witch? The head of the Ushiromiya family glanced at his door. The knob still had the seal of the scorpion, which protected his room from the presence of the witch. However, he already knew. The stronger the witch becomes, the less effective this seal was to restraining the witch from reaching his room. The man in the room constantly struggled with himself. On one hand, he wanted to open the door and welcome the Golden Witch with open arms, accepting any death or curse she would bring upon him. But, if he were to do so, it would make the game boring. As much as his desire to meet the witch was strong, the desire to entertain her until his very last breath was even stronger. He wanted to give her at least one final game, a final entertainment. Oops, I left this door open, silly me. Just a smidge, just a crack. So that Beatrice, if she wants to stop by, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Ushiromiya Kenzo had been a gambler his entire life. Now remember folks, this is what gambling does. This is what the bottom of the spiral looks like. At first you're putting a few coins into slot machines, you might be doing gacha rolls on your phone, and then suddenly your whole family is being murdered at random by a witch. Take it to heart. And now, it was his one final game, and his final chance to help the witch avoid the poison boredom. Come, Beatrice, try opening this door. If you do, I shall offer myself as a sacrifice, without any further resistance. This is our final game together. He could already feel it. The witch was standing on the other side of the door. Oh, how he longed to open the door, and yet had to hold back. After all, the witch would never forgive him if he were to give himself up so easily. The door rattled with loud noises. It sounded like a beast struggling on the other side, attempting to open the door, which only made Kenzo laugh even louder. The closed door kept shaking and making disturbing noises. Just what was happening on the other side of that door? The barrier was slowly breaking. It's probably just Ava trying to bust the door open. It was just as he had a thought. She was already powerful enough to breach his defenses, and now it was only a matter of time. Kenzo kept looking at the door with anticipation. Its brown color was slowly becoming stained red, blood oozing from the cracks between the wall and the door. Oh, so you're going to flood the room and kill me like this? Ha 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 ha! How cruel and magnificent of you, Beatrice! You won't even let me see you one last time. After all I needed to do in order to see you was open this door. Then, if even for just a single moment, I will be able to see you. But if I don't open the door, I will die embraced in red and not in your arms. Are these the choices you're offering me? A shrieking laughter echoed from the outside, and slowly the red liquid started reshaping. It was hard to tell at first, but slowly it reshaped into goat butlers, which now stood in front of the man. You die embraced by goats. Therefore, the barrier had already breached. There was no reason to keep this game going anymore. The man attempted approaching the door, his hands stretching forward. You know what? I know what's happening here. I think that the writer of this has unfortunately misnamed two of the art assets here, and it's causing these sort of default Rimpy placeholders to pop up. I might message them and just let them know that that's happened, because it's a pretty annoying thing that happens to me quite often in my story as well. But I'll do that after the stream. Come to think of it, I have not linked this visual novel yet. I'll do it closer to the end of the stream. The man attempted approaching the door, his hands stretching forward, but he was stopped by the horde of goats that were grasping onto him. Yep, game dev is not easy. As someone who does a little art and someone who does a little writing, I will tell you that the intersection of the two, writing and drawing for a game, is like 4 times harder. It's so annoying. But it's got a good sense of satisfaction to it, regardless. The knob was just a little bit away from his reach. That fact only made him laugh maniacally. After all, he only needed to open the door for the shortest moment in order to be satisfied, but his hand couldn't stretch far enough. He stretched out his hand more and more, trying to reach the door, before it suddenly fell down. Kenzo didn't even notice, but the goats were already gnawing on him, chewing and tearing him to pieces. But as long as his eyes could see, as long as they were still in place, he was only interested in the closed door that separated him and the witch. Eating, chewing, gnawing. The room was filled with red and filled with the man's insane laugh. He yelled and called for the witch, who never answered his cries. Ha! Ha ha! Ha 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 ha! Slowly and mercilessly, the man became nothing more than mutilated pieces on the floor. His laughter died as well. What a shame. You knew you were going to lose this gamble, and still gambled until the very end, losing the opportunity to see me one last time. However, you truly managed to entertain me with your last breath, Kenzo. I was not disappointed. Now, where should I put you? The witch inhaled from her pipe, exhaling over the body parts on the floor. The blood and the body pieces disappeared one by one with the smoke, leaving the room spotless. This door cannot protect you anymore, not from witches, nor from humans, and so it was time for you to die. I gave you the chance to see me and you rejected it. Farewell, Kenzo. Next time we shall be meeting in the Golden Land. Oh, looks like your guests were too late for your final show. Our game has ended, but their game has only just begun. And now into the perfectly empty, uneventful room of Kenzo. Father, are you there? Please answer. Enough with that. Just open the door, Genji. Voices echoed from outside the room before the door unlocked. That's a very impressive room. It's almost like a little home within the mansion. No wonder one could hole up in there for days. Is it really the time for this? The head is missing. No head ahead. Well, that just proves my theory that he might be an accomplice after all. It says nothing. He might have realized something is happening and made sure to escape by himself. How selfish of him. That's no better than being an accomplice. The master's behavior can be unexpected at times. It's not unlikely for him to leave to another room or a place within the mansion, so he won't be found. The window is locked from the inside and the floor is dry, so I don't think he went through the window. Isn't it the 3rd floor? What kind of a person is your grandfather? Don't underestimate him. If anyone is crazy enough to jump out and escape through a 3rd floor window, it's grandfather. Are there any other rooms that aren't visited often, or kept locked most of the time? There's the VIP room. I remember it was only occasionally opened to be cleaned by the servants, but I never got to see that room beyond a few peeks inside. Some of the other guest rooms aren't often used either, and of course, there's the guest house. But I can't see Father going there, especially not in this awful weather. I don't think we're losing anything from at least trying to search in the mansion. It might also help us realize where the people were stored before they were moved to the rooms every time. After all, this room is completely clean. Good idea. It might just end up as another unlucky game of tag, but we can hope the culprit will trip and make a mistake. It truly is the worst reason for you to get a tour of the mansion, huh? Trust me, I would skip it any day, if not for the circumstances, really. The two men smiled wryly at each other as they searched around in Kenzo's study one last time, until eventually exiting the room. I feel like I just heard some huge, buzzing noise from somewhere. It sounded like it came from outside. Hopefully that didn't show up on stream. I don't know what that was. It was funny, I was actually a little jumpy because of the atmosphere of the visual. I was like, wait, what's happening? The group proceeded together in the hallway in silence, with only their footsteps echoing in the corridor. It was like they were hoping to hear a set of footsteps that didn't match, or for any clue that could lead them forward. Hey, which room is the one over there? Virgilia suddenly pointed forward. That's the VIP room. Everyone stopped where they stood. The door to the VIP room was just a few meters away, but all of them could already tell it was slightly opened. Was someone there? Or at least had been there? Does that mean Kenzo is a VIP? Maybe. Maybe. We'll see, we'll see. No way. Don't tell me grandfather's actually in there. Only one way to find out. An RIP, maybe. The RIP room. I wonder if someone's dead in there. The RIP room is what I call the chapel. Ava was the first one to approach the door, her grip on her gun tightening as she used her leg to open the door wide, with her gun pointing inside. What is that? Ava Obasan, what did you find? Huh? Butler wore a similar expression to Ava's as he reached the door. The room was completely empty, with no sign of anyone inside. However, one thing was out of place. A cloak was lying on the floor close to the entrance. Is that grandfather's? Yes, no doubt about it. That's Kinzo-san's cloak. Eva picked it up from the floor, trying to check if there was anything in it. However, there were no signs of blood or anything of the sort. Why? Why would it be here? How did it arrive to this place? You know, something interesting is I don't think we heard what happened with Ava's receipt when they entered the room of Kinzo just now. I don't think anybody remarked on whether it was still in place or not. Perhaps things were a little too frantic in the moment for anybody to think to look. That's bad. If Kinzo-san is not an accomplice, I believe he might already be dead. Why would you say that? Because it's the same pattern. Clothes left behind. The only difference is that there's no blood or scraps. We're still one step too late. Virgilius clicked his tongue, irritated. Ooh, what's that? Maria pointed at the floor. Below Kenzo's cloak, there was something that looked a little bit like some kind of black dust, dirtying the spotless VIP room. I have a running joke with Heat for some reason where I always say that Kenzo has crawled into the furnace and that's how he died. And this seems to be playing very well into my Kenzo furnace theory. He crawled into the furnace, died, and then became ashes, and all that was left of him was this cloak and just a little bit of ash. I can't remember how did that joke start? It must have been, there was one early case where Kenzo, his body was found in the furnace, and I think I was trying to explain that it was like I was joking that it was a suicide and he just climbed in there himself. It looks like ash, one that you would find in a fireplace. Let's go through all the rooms that have fireplaces in them, then. It's your only lead. Do you smell something? I think it's coming from the boiler room. Genji had already taken out his keys in order to unlock the door to the boiler room as the group went downstairs. It's unlocked. He opened the door, coughing a little at the dust, followed by the rest. Is there anyone here? Balor and Virgilius immediately started searching around the place. At first, they searched behind some boxes and behind the boiler itself. In the end, only one place to check was left. With a disturbed expression, Virgilius reached out his hand and opened the boiler. Ah! Eee! Virgilius stepped back, putting both hands over his mouth, looking so disgusted that he was about to vomit, and Kumasawa looked like she was going to faint, screeching as she tried to get as far as possible from the side. Inside the boiler was a corpse. No, a corpse wasn't the proper way to describe it. The corpse was completely burned, something one could perhaps expect since it was placed inside the boiler. Yeah, fire rips for Kinzo here. At least I think this is Kinzo. I guess we'll find out. But it wasn't just that. It was just in pieces. The limbs were separated from the body, resting next to it almost like an exhibition, and even the head seemed to be cut halfway down, with a stake piercing it in the forehead. It was like someone had started cutting it off and had never bothered to finish the job. Rosa-san, please, take Maria out of the room immediately. What? The hell? Is that grandfather? He's not even recognizable. Why is he in pieces? Yes, that's Kinzo-san. The feet, the corpse, it has 6 toes. Nanjo pointed with a slightly shaky hand at the legs. Just as he said, it could still be seen that the corpse had 6 toes. There was no doubt about it. The burned, mutilated corpse belonged to Shiramiya Kinzo. Warn me not to eat anything before you show off how tasteless your style is. You finally start sounding like Battler, Virgilius. I'm getting excited. Oh, and in case you were wondering, this is indeed Ushiramiya Kinzo's corpse. So don't start having funny ideas like mannequins or anything of that sort. You definitely surpassed yourself this time. That's the 3rd time you've burned grandfather, but this time you didn't even let him stay in one piece. Repeating the same pattern again and again isn't my style. I had to make at least some kind of change after all. Now what? You really hoped for Kinzo to be an accomplice, and now he's dead. That changes nothing. For all I care, he only died now, so there's no reason to deny the possibility he could have done so before. Oh, sorry, so there's no Okay, basically, you know what that means. It's basically saying that Kinzo didn't have to die just now. Ushiramiya Kinzo died in his room. I almost said that red truth wrong. If I tried to lie with the red truth, who knows what could have happened. Give me a second. What? Yeah, no, not again. From the moment Ava stuck the paper in his door on October 4th's evening until the time Genji unlocked it for the group to inspect it, the door wasn't opened even once. The window wasn't opened either. The cursed red truth. Again with this red truth with no holes. Didn't I tell you already? The more red we get, the closer we'll get to the real truth. Then solve it. Solve it already. Why aren't you solving it? Huh? Suddenly it's my role alone? Weren't you our opponent as well? Since when did you stop thinking and leave it all to me? I can't do it, Ryu. I just can't. No, we can still blame a person X, an outsider who did it. Like who? Like me? She already said no one but me reached the island, and that there are no more than 18 people on the island. You need to face it already, Battler-san. Someone in your family is a murderer, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. Quiet, quiet. I don't want to hear it from you. You won't hear it from anyone other than me. The woman in front of you here will just tell you it's a witch. Battler tried to look away, but Virgilius grabbed his shoulders furiously, forcing him to face him. Blaming person X and blaming the witch, is there any difference at all? If you weren't ready to deny the witch, even with the price of blaming someone from your family, why did you enter this fight to begin with? If you just planned on trying to solve it the easy way with an outsider, you should have just admitted it's a witch. Isn't that right? Just because it's so easy for you doesn't mean it's easy for me. I never said it's easy. Who the hell said it's easy? But why won't you realize that trying to make everyone innocent all the time and trying to deny the witch at the same time is impossible? Your sole goal should be to prove it was done by a human, but it looks like your only goal is to keep your family's hands clean. If that was your wish, then surrendering to the witch was the choice that made more sense. Beato, Beato. A rose by any other name would smell sweet. Whether we call it the witch, or whether we call it Mystery Person X. Now, which is more important for you? Denying the witch, or keeping your family innocent? Virgilius spoke those words in a low voice, his eyes cold and angry, and Battler went quiet. A rose by any other name would still murder my family. Perhaps. He wanted both. He wanted to keep believing in his family members. He wanted them to be innocent. But at the same time, he wanted to deny the existence of the witch. Was there really no way to achieve both things? Was it really impossible? He didn't want to think it. He didn't want to admit the possibility. Virgilius' grip on his shoulders loosened, and he gave him a bored, almost pitying expression. I told you already, Battler's son. I'm here to win, and I will do anything in order to win. That includes blaming every single person in your family if I have to. This isn't just a game, Battler's son. It's a blame game. My life, as well as your life, are on the line. I know that. I can't do it. I don't want to suspect anyone. Why would anyone in my family do something so messed up? Do you really have time to think of the reason when you can barely think of a possible candidate? Perhaps, if we find the culprit, we can question them for their reasoning, but we need to find who can actually do it first. Virgilius leaned closer, a hint of a smile on his face. Hey, Battler's son, can you really defeat the witch? Can you do it? Can you throw away everything in order to win? I'm sure you can. The only thing you need to do is to join me. You're a good person, Battler's son, but it's also your biggest weakness. That's why you have to throw it away. Come, I'll help you. Together we can overcome it and win. Battler shook his head in frustration, holding on to it as he cowered in his seat, while Virgilius simply touched his back, almost as if in compassion. Opposed to Virgilius' calming, gentle voice, Beatrice started laughing, making Battler raise his head again, meeting the witch's gaze. Have you finally realized it, Battler? The only way to have peace in your heart is to acknowledge me. Is denying me so important you're willing to blame someone from your own family? I've told you already, this is a nightmare, and if you'll acknowledge me, all of your dreams can come true. That includes the dream where none of your family members have to stain their hands. Does it still sound so bad, Battler? Quiet, please, be quiet, both of you. I know it's hard, Battler's son. I'm here for you. I will help you. I can free you from this pain forever, Battler. Beatrice also approached the man, a smile all over her face. But unlike the hopeless feeling it always gave him, this time it was almost welcoming, which only made Battler flinch more, looking away. After all, no matter where he looked right now, he had to face one of the two painful choices he had been presented with. Someone help him. Someone. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He doesn't want to make any painful choices anymore. Perhaps he should just let Virgilius play instead of him. Like this, he won't have to bear the burden of pointing out the murderer. But it was just as he said. That was no different than acknowledging the witch. There really was no escape from this nightmare. It was a never-ending nightmare, a maze with no escape, a story with no happy ending. This seems like a good time to take a small break. I have run out of water in my cup, which is usually a good point to take a small break. So if you're like me and you need a little snack or a little drink, I would encourage you to take it now. I will be back momentarily to resume the reading. Okay, I think that's enough of a break. Let's get back to it. If you're just coming in, before the break, we saw that Battler is in a tug of war between Beatrice, who is trying to convince him to simply accept the witch, as she often does, pointing out that at this point, trying to blame a mystery person X may as well be blaming the witch, accepting the existence of the witch. And it makes things so much easier for Battler if he does, because he won't have to place that blame on any of his family. Virgilius, on the other hand, is sort of saying the same thing, which is that if he gives in to Beatrice now by saying there's a mystery person X, it's really no better. But he's trying to convince Battler to keep thinking, and to think even though it hurts. And specifically, when I say hurts, Virgilius is saying that he's going to have to accept the truth that it's one of his family members or friends who's the murderer at Lorage here. So really, Battler is finding himself between a rock and a hard place there. I don't know why my thing starts rewinding when I click. Very strange. Okay, let's keep going. Maybe my mouse is just like Battler. It doesn't want to continue. It doesn't want to see any more murders. And it doesn't want to have to blame any of its favorite characters. It wants to retreat to a happier time where everyone was still alive. The survivors, all Rock and Dreamer, were all present in the parlor of the main house. Sorry about that. The aura was tense and heavy, and for a long time no one said a word. Maria was sitting by the table, drawing a magic circle in her papers, before showing it to Battler. Ooh, here. This is the seal on Grandfather's door. Battler took her notebook tiredly, looking at it before frowning a little. For some reason the seal looked familiar, as if he'd seen it before. What does this one even mean? It repels witches like Beatrice. Usually Beatrice wouldn't be able to go through such a door, but she might have gotten strong enough that even seals like this won't repel her anymore. Ooh, Battler should be more careful for now, too. Me? What about me? Maria's good luck charm may not help you anymore. Battler reached to his pocket, taking out the charm he received from Maria yesterday, examining it more thoroughly. It had an identical drawing to what Maria drew on it. So that would mean it was also identical to the one on Kenzo's door. However, at this point, even Kenzo was already found dead, burned, and in pieces. He was literally resting in pieces. Does that mean that up until now, when he stayed by himself to protect the door from the culprit, the only thing that kept him safe was that charm? Does it also mean that from now on, he's no longer safe? Just thinking about those things made him feel ashamed. After all, there was no way these were all connected, or that it was truly a witch who did all of that. Thinking something like this contradicted everything he worked for until now. But disproving the witch would force him to admit that one of his family members or the servants are murderers. In fact, it's not impossible that the murderer is sitting with them in this room at this very moment, waiting for the right moment to strike, or for them to get separated. Battler gritted his teeth, his grip on the charm tightening. The more time passed, the less rational his thoughts became. He wanted to trust what his eyes were seeing, but the truth that was in front of him was too cruel to handle, too confusing to face. It was like all that was left in him now was his primal, pathetic need to survive. What are you holding there, Battler-kun? Yesterday, when I gave Maria my jacket, she gave me this charm in return and told me it'll protect me from witches. It feels so stupid, but I can't help but feel like it protected me last night and when I guarded the door back then. Ooh, it's not stupid. Beatrice probably couldn't get close to you up until now. This charm protected you. I can't help but feel bad. I wonder, if I gave my charm to someone else, would they be safe? I know it's stupid. I know, I just can't help it. It almost sounds like you assume you were supposed to be sacrificed to this point when you say it like this. You can't blame me, right? Jessica and George Anarchy were both sleeping with me in the same room, but the two of them died and I stayed alive. What if it was really because of the charm? Jessica-chan and George both died with their fathers. Huh. Ava's voice sounded a little more offensive than Battler assumed it would be, making him look at her in confusion. That's right. All the men in the family are dead. Also, my husband died with George. Kraus Nissan died with Jessica, but you didn't die with Rudolph. Ava-san, is it really the time to try and make such assumptions? Father is dead too. In other words, you're the only man who remained alive within our family, and within those who wear the one-winged eagle on their clothes. Ava stood up and pointed a fan onto Battler, wearing a vicious smile. Battler-kun, I believe you're either the culprit or an accomplice. As soon as the words came out of Ava's mouth, Battler stood up as well. Me? You're blaming me? Ava-san, blaming Battler-kun for something like this is too cruel. Both his father and Kyrie-san are dead. Quiet, Natsuhi. I didn't ask for your opinion. Unless you have some wiser thoughts to share with all of us regarding a possible culprit. Ava and Natsuhi glared at each other, before Natsuhi shifted her gaze to Virgilius, who immediately narrowed his eyes. Virgilius-san. Virgilius-kun, are you out of your mind? This guy is a complete stranger to the family who arrived here by accident. But what if he isn't? What if he has a reason to do all of this? What if he reached here on purpose? Isn't it weird that as soon as he joined the family meeting, suddenly people started dying? Well, I'm sorry for not being dead. What do you even mean by saying he's not a complete stranger? Do you have any basis for your delusional claims? Natsui swallowed heavily. It's not that she didn't have any evidence at all. However, that would result in her exposing worse secrets that she had sworn to never tell anyone. But if she didn't, he might get away with his acts. What should she do? How can she solve it? I could ask the same question. Why are you suspecting Battler-kun as the culprit? Isn't it obvious? Almost all of the Ushirimiya family members are dead by now, aside from the two of us, Battler-kun, Rosa, and Maria-chan. Once I'm killed, Battler-kun is next in line. No, maybe he thinks that since all the men are dead, he's already next in line right now. You really think I would kill my own family for money? That would explain why you came back now, right? Ava-san. If Battler-san wanted to get rid of the Ushirimiya family, wouldn't it make more sense for him to kill you along with George-san instead of your husband? Virgilia spoke suddenly, making Battler and both women turn to him. Unlike their yelling, his tone was still low and composed, and he wasn't even bothering to stand up from the couch he was sitting on. Are you defending Battler-kun, Virgilius-kun? I'm not defending anyone. I can't wrap my mind around one person just yet, so I simply state what's coming to my mind, considering you're trying to explain the motive. You do realize you're not out of the suspicion list, right? Please, Ava-san, do you really think that a person with no knowledge about how this mansion's layout can pull off something like this? Since yesterday evening, I've only seen the mansion first floor until you gave me that tour a little while ago. I don't know any of the servants or anyone here that could even try assisting me with pulling off something as crazy as this. You could easily bribe them or promise them something. That's not an excuse. Are we being blamed as accomplices just like this? After Natsui spoke, Virgilia started laughing, making the scene even more uncomfortable. Bribe them? With what? I bet these guys are getting paid better than I will be for at least the next decade or so. Besides, those are big words from someone who pointed a gun at me just a little while ago. Hi, Natsui pointed a gun at you? I was questioning him and trying to understand if he's the culprit. I didn't point a gun at him, I just held it. When was it? How did you even find the time to threaten people like that? Perhaps you're an accomplice too, Natsui. Why would I kill my own husband and child? How could I know? Maybe you hold some grudges against the Ushirimiya family. Your logic is getting out of hand, Evo Basan. With such logic, I can even say that Rosa Basan is an accomplice, because she's the only one who didn't lose her closest family member. Maria and I were sleeping in the same room, and have not left each other's side since last night. Ooh, you should stop fighting. It's the witch who did it. Maria is sure that if Virgilius wasn't here, she could show herself even earlier. Oh, so you want me to leave? Or perhaps is it some kind of a plan to separate us one by one, to kill us? Sorry, but I don't plan on dying. Then admit it already! Admit your side first then, Natsui-san. Should I really be the one to bring it up? What are you hiding, Natsui? Natsui glared at Virgilius with hatred, gritting her teeth. If she won't say it herself, this man will probably say it, and word it the worst way possible. I got a letter. You got a what? It only said, "Good night, Mother." I thought maybe it was from Jessica. Bring it right away and let us examine it. Why'd you hide something like this? Was it really just that, Natsui-san? Why would you think I'm in charge of that letter and try to question me about it then? Unless you're just going to say you have some secret, illegitimate children and think I'm one of them. I can't think of any other reason. You! How dare you! How dare you blame me for something as shameful as that? I didn't blame you. I just suggested some crazy ideas and you decided to take it personally. I threw the letter away. It came with a creepy doll, so I thought Jessica was just trying to prank me because of the witch letter. I planned on scolding her today, but that would make no sense. Maria only read that letter during dinner, and right afterward Jessica-chan was already with the children in the guest room. She didn't have the time to put anything like this in your room after dinner. This is exactly why I think it's possible one of the servants might have helped her with that prank. It doesn't change the fact that Natsui didn't tell anyone about it until Virgilius-kun brought it up. Ava Ne-san, you're not in a different position. Right now, you're the first in line, because Kraus Ne-san is dead. You have the same motive you claim Badler-kun to have. Rosa, are you blaming me? Me who lost her husband and son? How would you feel if Maria-chan died and someone accused you of a murder? This is exactly why I can't trust any of you anymore. Natsui-san hid important details despite the situation, and both you and Badler-kun have reasonable motive to be the culprits. Look, my yelling throat is starting to get a little worn out. I feel like I'm losing a lot of time off of this stream with this heated debate. I didn't know if you knew this, but I never schedule a consecutive stream right after I do my VN streams, because I know my throat's just going to be kind of shot for the for the at least a day. Stop it. Stop suspecting each other. Didn't Ryu-san say it before? That we'll always have subjective truths and blame each other like this? Rosa stood up, narrowing her eyes as she looked at the people in the room. I've decided. I'm taking Maria away from here. We'll lock ourselves safely in the guest house until tomorrow. Ooh, Mama. I'm not negotiating about it. Watching this fight helped me make up my mind about it. I have a gun fully loaded, and I'm ready to protect myself and Maria, even if I have to acknowledge that one of you is the culprit. Rosa Obasan, going away will just make you an easier target for the culprit. I refuse to stay here with the wolves. Eva Ne-san is right. I must protect Maria. Rosa took her gun from the table in one hand, and Maria's hand in the other. Ooh. Maria didn't even have time to protest or voice her opinion about her mother's decision before the two exited the room in a storm. Ugh. Battler passed his fingers through his hair in frustration. If both Rosa and Maria will go like this all by themselves, they'll really make an easy target. I'm going real quick to return this charm to Maria. Battler-san, going after them will only expose you to danger as well. The hell with that. If the culprit wants to shoot me, then they should just shoot me. I have no guns or weapons on me, right? He showed off his empty hands and the pockets which had nothing in them, demonstratively before exiting the room. I can't believe Beatrice is going to shoot Battler. With her powerful bullet magic. Rosa and Maria were already making their way to the guest house. Neither of them were holding an umbrella, letting the heavy rain pour on their heads. If there would come a case where she has to react fast, she knew the umbrella would only hinder her reaction. Oh, I got you. It's always good to have you here, Lampshade. No worries and have a great night. Never feel like you're bound and shackled. Rosa Obasan, please wait. As soon as Battler yelled, Rosa immediately pointed her gun at him, making him raise his arms up above his head. I have no weapon. I'm just here to return Maria's charm to her. Ooh, but that was a gift. Then return it to me tomorrow after the police arrive. Right now, I want it to protect you again, at least if it can. Battler made a few steps forward, looking to Rosa for approval to get closer. Rosa didn't lower the gun, but gestured with her head to signal that he can get closer. He carefully walked to Maria despite the gun still pointed at him, and placed the charm in her hands. Thank you for protecting me with it up until now. I'll do my best by myself, too. After he said it, he straightened up, holding his hands up above his head again, and turned away, walking back to the mansion. We should go quickly. Rosa tried to give Maria a small push so she'd start walking, but Maria only looked down at the charm in her hands. Mama, you shouldn't suspect anyone like this. The rain was pouring down on the two girls who stood in the garden. But Maria's eyes were still fixated on the charm Battler had returned to her, a gloomy expression all over her face. She didn't want to have it back, despite how he'd insisted on it. Her fingers closed onto the charm, feeling tears choking her throat. Maria never had the chance to give someone something like this up until now, let alone have someone accept it and treasure it. That's why she was so happy when she could gift someone such a thing, and that they put their trust in her magic. After all, Maria knew, even if Beatrice chooses her as a sacrifice, it'll be okay, because they'll meet in the Golden Land. But someone like Badler, who's still afraid, should be the one with the charm, so he can feel safer. I don't want to suspect anyone, but for your sake, Maria, I have no choice. Are you afraid? Maria asked the question as she looked up at her mother, making Rosa choke a little bit on her breath. That's right. Even Mama's afraid sometimes, you know. Right now, I'm very afraid. I'm afraid because I don't want anything bad to happen to you. That's why I don't mind looking like a bad guy, or suspecting other family members, as long as it means I'll be capable of protecting you. Ooh. Rosa kneeled in front of Maria, giving her an encouraging smile. Don't worry. Once it's all over, and the culprit is caught, I'll apologize to everyone for doubting them, so you shouldn't be sad now. Mama, you're the one who shouldn't be sad. Soon, you won't need to suspect anyone anymore. But since you're still afraid, Maria will be the one to protect you. Here. Maria put the charm in Rosa's hand. Badler asked me to keep it safe until I return it to him tomorrow. But right now, Mama needs it more than me. So you should be the one to keep it for him until tomorrow, okay? Rosa looked down at the charm. Even with everything that was happening, Maria was still able to smile brightly like this. In that moment, all those childish obsessions, all this behavior Rosa resented so much, wasn't so bad anymore. After all, a normal child her age shouldn't go through something like this. So perhaps, if it was all so that on this day she wouldn't be afraid, and she'd be protected from the cruelty of this world, maybe it wasn't so terrible. Maybe this kind of way to escape reality wasn't so bad after all. Rosa could feel something warm going down her cheeks, mixing with the rain. Mama? I'm okay. Mama just realized she might have been very stupid for a long time. Is your world bright right now, Maria? Ooh, Maria's world is always bright as long as Mama's with me. I see. I'm happy. My world is also bright when you're here. Rosa tried wiping away her own tears, smiling at Maria. That's right. Even if it was childish and unfitting for a child her age, it made Maria see even the cruelest things with bright light. How could she even think of trying to turn that light off? How could she be so stupid? I'm sorry, Maria. Mama's going to do better from now on, okay? Mama's raising too many death flags. Why is it that the happier somebody seems in Dominica, the more death flags they're raising? I'll take you to that restaurant you like once we get back home. Ooh, will I be able to eat the ice cream with the chocolate? That's right. You'll be able to eat anything you want. Ooh, Maria can't wait. Let's share ice cream together, Mama. Yes, let's. We'll eat plenty of ice cream, and then have a fun night together, just the two of us. It's a promise. Rosa reached her hand a little forward, offering her pinky with a tiny smile, and Maria immediately intertwined her pinky with Rosa's, smiling brightly as she shook their hands a little bit together. Ooh, it's a promise, so don't forget it, okay? Mama will keep this promise. Still, we shouldn't keep standing here in the rain. Let's head to the guest house and dry our clothes. I don't want you to catch a cold. Rosa smiled at Maria before giving her a short hug, standing up and taking her hand. They both had each other. Right now, even Rosa could see the world as bright as Maria saw it. It was hard to remember how dark it had looked just mere moments before. As they were approaching the guest house, Rosa suddenly spotted a shadow approaching them, immediately making her raise her gun with a frown. "Who's there? Show yourself right now, or I will shoot." As the figure slowly approached, Maria's eyes brightened. "Ooh, Beato, you came to see us." Maria let go of Rosa's hand, rushing to hug the figure with a smile. "Is that the Beatrice?" However, the witch wasn't smiling and only rested a hand on her shoulder. "Maria, do you remember I promised you that one day I would take you to the Golden Land?" "Ooh, Maria remembers. Maria has always been waiting." "It seems that the time has come." "Ooh?" Beatrice let go of Maria, giving her a bitter smile. "A lot of things have gone differently than I expected. My board was interrupted by an unexpected guest, and while I tried to keep to what I had originally planned, it looks like I'm at my limit. I will need you to help me now." "Ooh, but Mama promised to take Maria out to eat in her favorite restaurant." "What is the meaning of this?" Rosa was stunned, looking at the witch with confusion. Was it really the witch all along? Beatrice's rather gloomy expression changed into a smile as she looked at Rosa. "Rejoice, Rosa. You and Maria have been chosen as my sacrifices. But worry not. Both of you will be united together in the Golden Land. Maria is my precious student, so I will not defile your bodies like the others. This will be my parting gift to you." "Will Mama be the same kind Mama she is now in the Golden Land too?" "Of course she'll be. The Black Witch will not be allowed in my Golden Land after all." Both girls smiled sadly at each other, but Rosa only wore a furious expression, pointing the gun at Beatrice. "I will not let you take Maria away." "Guns are useless against me, Rosa. I suggest you don't shoot. It'll only backfire at you." "Let Maria go!" Will Mama get a gun in the Golden Land? Everyone loves Rosa gun. It has to come back. As Rosa shot the gun, she suddenly felt a sharp, burning pain in her own stomach. Oh no, she got Natsuhi Chapter 1. Ha. Was she the one shot? But how? What's that? Rosa held on to her wounded area, which started dripping down on the ground, falling onto her knees, and the gun fell down next to her. "Ooh, Beato, don't make Mama suffer. Please, Beato." "I know. I will finish it right away." Give Maria back. The second shot went to her shoulder. It looked like it was aimed at her heart, but Rosa managed to move away, making the shot miss the vital place by mere chance. Rosa gritted her teeth, trying to drag herself towards the two. "If you keep hurting Mama like this, Maria can't forgive you." Maria left Beatrice's side, running to her mother, before another gunshot pierced the air. Rosa's leg was shot as well, making her unable to move. The puddles of rain around the two girls filling with blood. Man, Beatrice's aim leaves a little bit to be desired. If she needed aim, she should have just summoned me. I could have helped. It looks like the charm your mother holds is stopping me from killing her immediately. Maria, your charm is only slowing down her death. Mama! Mama! Maria reached toward Rosa's pocket, taking the charm out and throwing it aside. As soon as she did, a weapon faster than a gun made its way to the girls, piercing Rosa in the chest. It was one of the 7 stakes of Purgatory. Now, without a charm to protect Rosa from it, it could finally pierce through her flesh. Rosa's sacrifice was for the 5th twilight. Your twilight is in the stomach, but I believe it might not kill you immediately. I do not want you to suffer. Allow me to make it faster. She made it faster with the power of her gun magic. Her gun missile. Before Maria could say anything, the gun shot its last 3 shots in Maria. 1 in the head, 2 in the chest, making her fall down like a lifeless doll. Then another one of the stakes appeared, piercing her through the stomach. This is my punishment as well, for creating bonds with humans. I am now paying the price of the momentary pain I need to feel. For a witch like me to feel such sadness for killing a human, I've truly become soft. Even if it's my very own student. He. Yeah, ha 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 ha. I thank you, Maria. For a mere moment I could feel the sadness of eternal loss, something an endless witch like me forgot how to feel. Ah, my world is truly bright right now. I can't wait to have a tea party with you in the Golden Land. Yeah, ha 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 ha. Ah, ha 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 ha. Well, we're about 2 hours in. I don't know if I feel like stopping yet, though. I think I'll keep reading for a while longer. Ooh. The parlor was quiet. As soon as Rosa and Maria left, the situation had cooled down, and the fight that had started the discord had died out. Battler, who had been suspected by Ava until a short while ago, sat in front of her to assure her of his innocence, staring at the rainy window. He felt tired, as if all energy had been drained out of him, and didn't really have the will to suggest anything or look for anything to do. All he wanted to do was doze off on the couch, close his eyes, not think about anything. Natsui, who was alerted with everything around her, also seemed to slowly fall asleep. Her head was hanging, and the gun was resting on her lap. Ava, on the other hand, was restless. She was checking around the room every once in a while, as well as outside the window, before going back to sit on the couch. Nanjo, along with the remaining servants, Genji, Kumasawa, and Godai, were sitting by themselves on the other side of the room, along with Virgilius. There was a quiet chatter between them that didn't seem to gain the attention of anyone else in the room. Without a proper autopsy, I can't really tell when Kenzo-san's corpse reached that condition. Even as a doctor, I can't really give a time estimation for a burned corpse. I assumed as much. I just can't stop thinking about everything that has happened. I don't even know if there's anything I can do about it, and perhaps the best thing we can do is wait. But my mind just keeps getting restless. Kumasawa-san, you said the murders so far are corresponding to the epitaph of the witch, right? That's right. The epitaph is supposed to point to the location of hidden gold, which once belonged to the witch, and and was given to the master as part of a deal he made with her. There are a lot of rumors that the witch still wanders in the mansion by the night, leaving open windows and causing mischief. The younger servants even speculated she once pushed a servant who didn't believe in her off the stairs. Were Shannon-san and Cannon-san believers of the witch? Do you think it might have been a revenge against the disbelievers? Still, even if it is, it would be weird. It would mean there's something or someone on the island who kept maintaining these legends, even when there were no murders involved. It might have been done for Kenzo-san's sake. He truly believed in the revival of the witch and yearned for it. He invested in black magic and occult in order to be able to revive her again. Maybe some servants didn't believe it, but pretended to believe it to earn the master's trust. After all, if the master believed in the witch, perhaps he would have trusted servants with the same ideas more. The ghost stories of the witch of the forest were also used to stop the younger children from running to the forest. We all used to say there's a witch in there, which made it too scary to explore. Some servants would also sometimes complain that their keys or belongings disappeared without a trace, and believed the witch was playing pranks on them. I see. So the witch can also be considered some kind of a collective acceptance of ghost stories used to explain any mystery or something that's hard to understand on this island. Common workplace headache, having to believe in your boss's witch. Exactly. We've all been forced to feign an interest in the supernatural for our bosses, I'm sure. I guess that instead of trying to explain why the window stayed open, it's easier to blame a witch. And instead of explaining to a child why the forest is dangerous, it's easier to say a witch lives there. And instead of trying to cope with Kenzo's madness, he yearns for a witch, or even a lost mistress or friend. In a way, it's almost like how religious people explain things they didn't understand, with a higher unknown God who has unlimited powers throughout history. Virgilia sank in his seat, staring at the ceiling. That would mean that, in a way, the witch is an excuse. The witch can be used as an easy explanation for why something hard to understand happened. That thing wasn't there before. I'm certain I closed that window. Where did that item go? Why did I come to this place again? Why did I forget to say Chan instead of Chan after watching all those subtitled animes? I lost balance for no reason. Everyday things could be covered up as the witch is doing without putting too much thought into them. There was a collective idea that a witch lives on the island, and it becomes easier to blame her instead of taking responsibility for your own doings. Perhaps it also made life more exciting. The idea some unknown power is lurking in the darkness, changing the way things behave, or affecting reality in a way we can't understand, can make life more exciting and mysterious. It could entertain you and make you think of exciting possibilities, and at the same time give a satisfying temporary answer. Personally, the witch has cursed my OBS so that I can't have headfire. I'm blaming the witch. Meanwhile, for some people, it even seemed to become some kind of a coping mechanism. For people like Kenzo and perhaps Maria, the existence of the witch and magic became a break from reality. Kenzo, who couldn't accept death and dedicated his life to it, and Maria, who fills her world with it to overcome harsh reality. However, while most people treated the witch as an excuse for something that happened and they can't understand, the culprit treated the witch as an excuse for something that will happen. The witch is an excuse for the actions they will do. So maybe they can't explain their own actions to themselves, and that's why they have to use the witch? The witch usually served as a barrier from unknown things, a barrier from reality. But now the witch is serving as a weapon. Someone is actively weaponizing the concept of... I missed that. Let me go back just a second. The concept of the witch for their actions. Virgilius's train of thought was cut by a small noise. It took him a moment to realize it was his own stomach. Are you hungry, Virgilius-sama? I guess I was. None of us really ate anything proper today, so I didn't realize how hungry I am until now. Finally, it's Goda's time to shine. Ava, who was on her room stroll, approached their table as she noticed their conversation. We should at least get some canned food and things to hold us up until morning. What about Rosa-sama and Maria-sama? Do they have any food? I believe there's no food in the guest house at the moment. It might become a problem for them. We can all go and get food together right now, and then call the guest house and suggest bringing the food to them. Sounds like a good idea. Virgilius stood up, stretching his legs. His body was still sore from yesterday, and he felt heavy. Despite that, it was the least of his problems at the moment. He only needed to approach where Battler and Natsui were to make her wake up abruptly, looking at him suspiciously. We're going to get food. We'll probably call Maria-san and Rosa-san afterwards. I see. I will join you too, of course. We should all stick together. I hope they're safe. Battler stood up, looking tired and upset. Looking a little salty, I might say. Once we call them, we can hear about their situation, right? The phone stopped working, but the internal line still works. At least, from what I've been told. Who knows? Maybe the culprit themselves will eventually bother to call us. That would save us a lot of thinking and confusion. And confirm the culprit isn't one of us. That's some wishful thinking. Battler frowned at Virgilius, who only turned away and followed the servants and Ava to the exit. He couldn't really blame him for his attitude. That man went through a near-death experience and survived just to have his life in danger again. Of course he'd get bitter. The trip to the kitchen didn't take long, and the group decided to settle in there in order to dine. Goda was eager to make something better than canned food, and improvise something fast for the seated people with the help of Kumasawa and Genji. As the group was eating, the tension also smoothed away a little bit, and a calmer aura filled the room. Hunger can make people very upset and nervous. Please take time to enjoy your food and forget about your problems. I wish I could eat just until tomorrow morning. I wouldn't mind having some alcohol either. Aren't you 18? Even I can't legally drink yet. There's a culprit on this island that might shoot me in the face any moment. I wouldn't mind drinking some alcohol beforehand. Battler-kun, please don't speak like this. We aren't going to let anyone else get hurt anymore. Still, it's a shame Rosa and Maria-chan aren't here to eat with us. Ah, damn it, I did it. I said Chan. Okay, I'm dead. Bagoosh. Okay. Recompense achieved. Perhaps it could calm their spirits as well. I think we should call them. Maybe they'll decide to join us regardless. Parents are out. Go nuts. Slightly bad tasting, I think. Natsui put down her fork and walked to the phone that was stationed closer to the exit of the kitchen. Every once in a while she would hang up and attempt another number, but at no point did a conversation start. No answer. Maybe they're too afraid to answer the phone. Why would they be afraid to answer the phone? It's obviously the only way we can communicate with them right now or notify them about anything. So why won't they answer? Battler was asking the question out loud, but no one wanted to answer. Why won't they answer? There was one answer that came to everyone's mind, but no one wanted to suggest it out loud. Of course, Kumasawa's suggestion could still be true. It could be that Rosa decided to cut off any communication with the rest of the group, even though it would be irrational to go as far as avoiding any interaction even through the phone. Another reason would be that they're not even in the guest house, or that they don't want anyone to discover the location within the guest house they're in. After all, answering the phone in a specific room will confirm the room they're in. But all of these thoughts were obviously a way to avoid the undeniable thought that something might have happened to the two and they can't answer anymore. I think we have no choice. We should go and check on their well-being. I agree. We should have made an agreement to communicate on the phone with them before they left, just in case. Surviving until tomorrow without food isn't impossible, but it's definitely unpleasant. Do you really think something happened to them? We shouldn't have left them by themselves. We can't do anything about it now. The only thing we can do is go and assure they're safe. Yes, I know. I just can't help it. We'll move as one group. Please finish eating and we'll head to the guest house as soon after. I've already finished eating. Let me try and keep contacting them in the meanwhile. Natsui let go of the phone, returning to her seat, while Ava took her position, attempting to call again as the rest finished their food. A few minutes later, the group already had made its way to the guest house. I don't see any light in the guest house. Ava noted it as the group proceeded within the rose garden. Even now, some stubborn flowers remained intact, despite the rain and wind, giving some color to the beautiful structure of it. Even like this, the garden remained beautiful, even if it was only a glimpse of how beautiful it used to be. As they were getting closer to the guest house, Battler was the first to notice. Natsui Obasan, that's... He pointed forward with a shaky hand to the corner of one of the flower beds. An arm. No! Rosa-san! Maria-chan! On the muddy ground, just a little further from the entrance to the guest house, the two girls were laying on the ground lifeless. Rosa's gun was by her side, and the charm Battler had given Maria back could be spotted just a little bit away from both of them in one of the rain puddles. Rosa's chest was pierced with a stake similar to the one that pierced Kenzo, Shannon, and Cannon's bodies. A similar stake also pierced Maria's stomach. But aside for that, there seemed to be more holes visible in Rosa's leg, as well as her shoulder and stomach. Maria also had more shooting wounds in her head and chest. Someone really went hog wild on this one. Why would someone... Badler fell on his knees, speechless. I thought Maria was the witch's friend. If she was her friend, why would the so-called witch kill her, huh? She's just a 9-year-old kid. She's a kid. Who would be cruel enough to come and shoot a kid in the head like this? Cry. Badler held onto his head, shaking it repeatedly in frustration. That was already too much. After all of them were together in the parlor at the same time. None of them could have done that. Ava picked Rosa's gun from the ground with rather shaky hands, examining it for a short while. The gun is empty. Someone used this gun to kill them. This makes no sense. These guns only have 6 bullets in total, and I can see more than 6 injuries. As they spoke, Nanjo kneeled by the bodies, inspecting Rosa's body and then Maria's body. It looks like Maria-san was shot in the chest twice, not once. Twice? Why twice? After already shooting her in the head? I guess they just really, really, really hated Maria. When I first read Umineko, I wasn't really a big Maria fan for some reason. But I think that on second read through, I'd warmed up to her. Like, seeing the later chapters really does endear you to her. I have a Dihydrate and a Stretch Break redeemed, so I will do both. I will stand up, I'll walk around, and I'll drink some water. Okay. I think we're pretty close to wrapping up this session regardless. I'll probably play for maybe the end of this scene and then cut it out there. Because I'm almost out of water and I'm almost out of juice in terms of I don't think I can keep talking for that much longer. It's been a rather spirited reading this time with lots of yelling and reacting. The stakes are the same ones that were in the Masters, Shannon-chan, and Kanon-kun's corpses. Is it the witch's doing again? I think I said... Nope, I did it okay there. Right, what are we going to do? Should we leave them here or take them inside? Leaving them like this feels like disgracing them, but it'll change the murder scene. We could use something from the shed to at least cover their bodies and protect them from the rain a little bit. We could go and bring it right away. Is the culprit still somewhere outside? Do they have a gun? From the way it looks, the gun that was used is Rosa's gun, yet they didn't try taking it with them. I still don't understand. There are the stake wounds and 3 gunshots in each body. Does it mean they were killed with both a gun and a stake, or was it placed later? There's no reason to take a gun if they don't have the bullets for it, right? Maybe they do have more bullets and just attempted to make a quick, brutal confirmation of death. What do you think, Ryu-san? While the group kept speculating about the mysterious death of Rosa and Maria, the only person who stood a little distanced from them was Virgilius. He was wearing a blank expression, standing still with his umbrella. It was hard to tell what he was thinking. Up until now, he would reach over immediately, offer help, or join the conversation in order to speculate along with them. But this time he said nothing. Badler slowly stood up, frowning a little bit at the behavior, looking at the man. Ryu-san? I think you're the culprit, Badler-san. What? You're joking, right? What's the meaning of that? I said what I said. I think you're the culprit, Badler-san. I didn't really want to believe it at first, considering we're partners, but it looks like you leave me no choice. No choice? Why the hell would you think I'm the culprit? We're trying to find the culprit together, right? He's exclamation mark looking. Yeah, I guess for a little bit he was. Yeah, I didn't see this coming at all, did it? Did you? It's certainly a surprise to me. The Badler culprit theory was one of the more interesting parts of one of the later chapters of Dominica. I wish that would mean that we get to hear corruption at least once in this storyline. I'll beg it from Beatrice. Give us corruption. Play it at least one time. Although this track's pretty good too. Of course. Then please prove you're not the culprit. I'll be glad to hear. What do you mean prove it? Isn't it obvious I'm not? I'm the one who wants to find the culprit myself. Beato, tell him something. Beatrice seemed bothered. It looked like she was struggling to find the right answer, her expression changing a few times before she forced a smile. Sorry, Badler. I cannot interrupt during a discord on the human side. If you cannot agree on a theory, you need to clear it between yourselves and present to me your arguments. What do you mean? Go ahead and deny it. Go ahead and tell him I'm not the culprit. You can say it in red, can't you? Go ahead and say it in red. If we were to play like this, you could just force me to say in red whether someone is a culprit or not on every person until finding the right one. I cannot give you such red. I see. So you cannot deny the possibility Badler-san is the culprit. Would you be so kind as to confirm that Rosa-san and Maria-san are dead for my sake? I think it's a fair request. Beato, wait! Rosa and Maria are dead. Excellent. Now, let's deny another thing. Did Maria-san and Rosa-san kill each other? I mean, that would clear everyone's names, right? Are you insane? Do you really think Rosa Oba-san shot Maria after she went so far just in order to protect her? Well, it could have been an act, right? This is why we need the red truth. I told you already, red truth is getting us closer to the real truth, right? Go ahead, Beatrice-san, deny my words or I will deny you. Maria-san and Rosa-san shooting each other will deny the involvement of the witch. But don't worry, I still have a lot up my sleeve. I will just move on to blaming someone else. Go on, can you deny it? Faye just grit her teeth. She looked almost as unwilling as Badler before closing her eyes. Rosa and Maria did not kill each other. Someone else killed them. Excellent. Absolutely excellent. Just as I had thought. Badler-san, you're the one who killed them. Why do you think it was me? What makes you say it? I've been suspecting you ever since the disappearance of Shannon-chan's body from the room. You were the only one who left behind to guard the door, and we never found Jessica-san's key. Of course, the possibility of someone climbing through the window and passing under your nose was possible, so I decided to go along with this claim so you wouldn't think I was suspecting you. However, now there's no doubt about it. By the time you went in, after Rosa-san and Maria-san, you also killed them, and then returned to the parlor. It's not very hard to understand. Then how would you explain the stakes? I showed all of you my empty pockets before I went after Rosa, Oba-san, and Maria, right? Besides, there are 4 injuries on each of them, 8 in total, and only 6 bullets. I didn't have any extra bullets, you saw it yourself. That's all. Obviously, the stakes could have been hidden in the garden ahead of time, and you only placed them later. The same goes for the bullets. Stop, I will deny this one. The murder weapon was not hidden in the garden ahead of time. Oh, Beatrice-san. How interesting. Are you trying to help Battler-san now? I'm not. I simply don't want you to reach a human culprit theory so easily. That would mean I would lose after all. Of course. Still, that's a minor detail. The stakes could be inside Maria-san's bag, considering her love for a cult, or even in the guest house. The murder happened almost by its entrance, right? Do you really think I could have done it in such a short time? You noticed how long I was absent. That doesn't make any sense at all. You're quite athletic. I'm sure you can do it. Then what about the 4th hole with the stakes? How would you explain it? Even I don't have the strength to pierce it like this inside someone's chest or stomach. That's not a problem. You could use something else to make the hole first. For example, the fence. It's quite pointy and sharp, if you ask me. Oh wow, we've circled back to the Rosa gets skewered on a fence death. I never thought we'd return there. I'm sure you could pierce someone by pushing them on the fence. In fact, maybe that's how they died first, and you only emptied the gun on them later. No, Beato, please, say something that denies this theory of his. It wasn't me, this is insane. You can't just let him blame me, right? Beato? Balor's voice became more and more desperate as he spoke, looking at Beatrice with pleading eyes. I already told you, Battler, I can't do it. Heh. Who would have thought that you would be pleading for me to deny a theory that attempts denying me? How the tables have turned. That does make sense, but I'm on the fence about it. Oh, thank you, Heath. Thank you. For this needed air of levity. This isn't about denying you anymore. I can't be the culprit, it makes no sense. Why? Why would you even think I'm the culprit? I've said it before. I wanted to see if I could first explain how it's done. And now, figuring out the why done it isn't that hard. Ava-san even suggested a possibility just a little while ago. But you don't believe it, do you? Do you really think someone like me would kill their own family members for money? Do you really think I'm capable of doing something like this? I do have to admit it does seem unfitting and out of character for you, which is something that made me doubt it for a while. See, then what else? What other reason do I have to murder people like this? Victory. Victory? Virgilius, you don't mean... Well, Battler was still trying to understand Virgilius' answer. Beatrice seemed to become anxious herself, gritting her teeth. Let's try to think about it together, Battler-san. What's the objective of this game? The objective is to prove the witch doesn't exist, to deny her existence. That's right. And how does one do it? Virgilius, that's enough. Ray just reached over to the man with a frown, but he only pushed her away, making her gasp in shock. I thought you weren't supposed to be able to interrupt a human-side discussion. Out of my way, witch. Now, tell me, Battler-san, how does one win? I don't understand what you're asking me. What do you mean, how does one win? Ha! Ha ha ha! It's actually so simple. Had I thought about it before, I would have just done it myself. Do what? Tell me already. In order to win this game, you need to prove that the culprit is human. And what easier way would be than becoming the culprit yourself? Battler's eyes widened, and he looked at Virgilius in dread. No. The easiest way to make sure you know who's the culprit... Stop it! And the easiest way to make sure the culprit is a human... Stop it! I don't want to hear it! Is to be the culprit yourself. It's so easy. I don't understand why this game is taking so long. I should have just thought about it myself. Battler-san, if you're the culprit, you can even say it in red, right? I'm the human culprit. That's how it goes. How simple is that? Go ahead and say it. No, I would never do something like this. I would never become a killer, even if it's the only way to deny the witch. I would never do something like this. Be the human culprit you want to see in the world. It's funny how that fitting that expression is. Ordinarily it would be nonsense, but here it kind of works. Doesn't really matter, Battler-san. Doesn't matter if you're the culprit or not. After all, we can craft this theory, deny the witch, and escape this place. Besides, isn't it great? This is just what you wanted. How the hell is it something I wanted? Virgilius stepped closer, leaning towards Battler, smiling. Didn't you say it yourself? You wanted a solution where you didn't need to blame anyone from your family. Do you see it now, Battler-san? If you blame yourself, you don't need to suspect any of them, right? You don't need to blame anyone or hate anyone. I don't... Battler cowered down, tears of frustration going down his face, but Virgilius' voice only kept ringing. Hey, Battler-san, why are you crying? Why are you crying, Battler-san? You're here to crush the witch, aren't you? Isn't that what you wanted? It's what you wanted, right? Look at this! Hey, come on, join me, Battler-san, laugh with me! Why aren't you rejoicing? Go ahead and laugh with me, victory is approaching! It's our victory! This is what you wished for! Ha ha ha! Ha 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 ha! Bet you weren't expecting the human side victory. That's ridiculous. A forgery where I'm the culprit, one that claims to be a real one. We just said it in my last forgery. Battler-kun isn't the culprit. Battler-kun didn't kill anyone. This can be said of all games. The whole point of Battler proposing such a theory was just to let the witch exist against the Natsuri culprit theory. Toya clenched his fist, giving Ikuko a pained expression. Are those people even reading any of my forgeries at all? Besides, the detective cannot be the culprit, right? Even if Nox's decalogue is relevant for this forgery, it was never stated whether Battler or Virgilius hold on to the authority. It's not something we can use to protect Battler from this forgery. Why are you agreeing with something like this? Why? Why am I so irritated by this? It's obvious Battler isn't the culprit. You can read it in any other game. No, you even heard it in red. How can they claim to be a real thing when they go against it? Toya's head was pounding with pain. He could not accept a tale like this. He refused to listen. A tale where where Battler is the culprit wasn't something he wanted to hear. After all, he's also. I refuse to listen to it. After all, we know it, right? We know Battler isn't the culprit. Do we? The voice that replied to him wasn't Ikuko's voice. It was someone else. Toya looked around him. He was no longer in his house where he was safe and protected. The place he was in right now was dark and scary. Yes, the place he was in right now was within his own mind. It was the place where he would sometimes get lost in as he walked blindly, trying to get a hold of his lost memories. A dark, black maze with no walls or any leads, just a never-ending darkness that stretched forward. That's where he was now. Why was he here again? He started walking forward. No, he couldn't even tell if he was walking forward. After all, in that darkness, there was nothing that indicated if he was walking towards something. It was just him, lost in his own head, and in his own darkness. But then, he saw something. It was still far away, but it was different from the darkness. It had a shape, a familiar shape. Toya could feel his breath getting shorter. It only took him a short moment to realize. It wasn't something, but someone. That was Battler. His name is Umanika. That was him. No, it wasn't him. It was Ushiramiya Battler. He was standing still, his eyes closed and his face calm. Was he sleeping? No, it wouldn't make sense. After all, the man was standing still, hands in his pockets. Toya knew that Battler was still residing within him. But while he knew that, he also didn't want to meet him. After all, Toya was afraid. Before Toya could think of anything else, the man suddenly spoke. Do we really know? Do we know Shiramiya Battler isn't the culprit? The man opened his eyes. It was Shiramiya Battler, but at the same time, it wasn't. Man, I gotta stop and say, this is amazing. I never would have thought that they could have found a way to, like, open things back up for Black Battler. It's frankly exhilarating to see. It's pretty exciting. It went in an exciting direction that I was not expecting. Who are you? What a weird question to ask. After all, I'm you. I'm Shiramiya Battler. You're not. Really? Can you prove it? Can you prove I'm not Shiramiya Battler? What do you mean, if I can prove it? Tell me, do you remember what happened on that day? What happened on Rokenjima on October 4th to 5th, 1986? Can you really prove that I didn't exist there? Toya recoiled. His head hurt. His entire body hurt. He wanted to run away. He had to run away. He was paralyzed as Battler approached him, wearing a smile on his face. You can't, right? You can't remember that day. Then what assures you that I wasn't there? What assures you that Battler wasn't the culprit? Don't say it. Hey, Hachijou Toya, tell me, what would happen if the Battler within you, waiting to be freed, is me? Can you deny it? Can you say with certainty that Ushirimiya Battler didn't kill anyone in Rokujima? After all, you can't recall anything, right? No, please, go away, go away! Toya closed his eyes, refusing to look at Battler in front of him. I can't go away. After all, you're the reason I'm here. As he spoke, Battler's expression twisted in an almost inhuman way. Inside you there are two Battlers. One of them can't remember anything. The other one killed his whole family. You see, as long as someone believes, as long as someone in this world thinks of the possibility that Ushirimiya Battler is the culprit, I will continue to exist. And you, Hachijo Toya, you're the main reason I exist. No, I don't. You have it. You have that doubt in your heart. That constant doubt that won't let you go. You still can't fully tell yourself with ease that you're not the culprit of that day. Get out of my head. You hate thinking about it. You constantly try to ignore these thoughts, these doubts. One of them can't remember anything. One of them killed his whole family. You can't remember killing your whole family. Sure. I went way longer than I thought I was going to because this got so interesting, but I'm out of water. I might need to go grab another cup. Yeah, it won't take but a second. I'm not even going to pub the BRB screen. I'm just going to go get just a little bit of water. Okay, I'm back. I could tell I was really pushing it without having any hydration, so I'm gonna do the healthy streamer thing and make sure I get at least a little bit. Okay. You hate thinking about it. You constantly try to ignore these thoughts, these doubts. Maybe this is one of the reasons you reject the Ushirimiya Battler within you so much. Perhaps you're afraid to discover this is the true face of the man you used to be. Get out of my head. You're the person who keeps me alive. As long as there's that doubt within your heart, even the smallest doubt, no matter how much you push it away, I will exist. I'll be here. Get out of my head! Get out of my head! This is why you hate facing it so much. You hate seeing more people writing about me, about this Ushirimiya Battler. You know it makes me stronger and it makes you doubt yourself more and more. Every time you drink water, I get a gulp. That's a way to say it. I keep getting stronger, but not only from the outside, but within you as well. Get out! Get out! Let me go! Toya screamed, finally moving away, but that only made Battler laugh. I won't go. I can't go, Hachijo Toya. As long as you have this doubt. No, probably until the day you die. I'll be here with you. Even if you remember that day, can you really say for sure your memory's accurate? You can't, can you? I'll always be here. I'll always be with you. Draw evil Battler, buddy? You really want to, actually. Yeah, I've got to draw evil Battler now. You know, I actually drew Dark Battler once before. It's quite fun. But yeah, I'll put that on the list. Thank you. No, I don't want you. Go away. Go away. That's impossible. I'm still you, after all. As long as you have this vessel, as long as this body once belonged to Ashirmia Battler, I'll be here as well. You can't escape me. You can never escape me. Well, you can always die. Maybe once you die, I won't be able to chase you anymore. You're not me. You're not Ashirmia Battler. I refuse to accept you. I refuse to acknowledge you. I will never accept you. I will never let you exist. I refuse to acknowledge you. Can you say it in red? You can't, can you? You can't say it in red. Your heart is crying. No, it's screaming. It's a beautiful melody. Because with every tear and every scream, I become stronger. I wonder, will I eventually become strong enough to kill you? Maybe one day you'll close your eyes, and here in this very place, I'll kill you. I'll kill you, and I'll be the one to wake up in this body. After all, you're me, I'm you. Toya pushed the man away and ran in the other direction, covering his ears. Battler is now your sleep paralysis demon. Enjoy. But no matter how far he ran, no matter how much he covered his ears, Battler's laugh kept ringing in his ears. Go ahead, run and cry. Let the doubts in your heart grow and grow. Let it consume you. Let it take over. I hate when I accidentally read literature that convinces me I killed someone. Yeah, that's a hell of a way to be, I suppose. I bet he's really wishing he hadn't. I mean, this is really just a cautionary tale warning against reading in general. By the end of this story, I could actually figure out that I'm the person who killed somebody. I actually killed everybody on Rokenjima. And I won't know it until the end of this story. Yeah, I definitely should have put that in the trigger warnings. Let me just add that real quick. Blood, language, possibility, you discover you killed your own family. Okay. There we go. I've added the trigger warning. Make sure to always think of me. Make sure to always fear me. Make sure to always deny me. Go ahead and try to deny me, Hachijo Toya! Yeah! Ha ha ha! Yee ha ha ha! Ooh, that laugh was rough. Okay, that's a great stop point. Oh boy, that went a crazy direction, but I'm very pleased. I didn't expect anything like this tonight. Let's go ahead and save it up for now. We'll resume from there next time. Oof. Okay, yeah, I'm pooped, but it was a lot of fun. Thanks to those who watched. If you're watching it on VOD, I hope you enjoyed as much as I did live. We've still got more to read here in the main story, and then we've also got like the Witch's Tea Party and all that, so I'm sure we've got quite a bit of this still left ahead of us. Why don't I go ahead and link the thing one more time? Give me just 1 second. I'm going to turn off my display for a moment, because I've got to go online to grab this thingy. 1 moment. But yeah, I can't say enough good about the part we just read. It's like, when you think about Umineko, you're like, what ground is there that they haven't covered yet? And for somebody to be able to come up with something that's like original within that universe, it's just fascinating. Alright, let's see. I need... Oh, hey, Kay. Good to see you. Yeah, I really enjoyed myself. I hope you did too. I'm going to find a raid target in just a moment here after I link the visual novel one more time. Purgatory. As usual, if you're interested in Purgatory of the Golden Witch, you can get it off of itch.io. Even if you don't want to play it yourself, you might want to leave some feedback for the author. Here you go. Alright. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it was a great direction for the story. I didn't see it coming. It kind of blindsided me. Anyways, yeah, let's see who we can rate. Man, I wonder how this is going to end, too. Like, I wonder what ends up happening to Virgilius and all that. He's definitely turned into, like, an antagonistic character here. I wonder if he'll stay that way, like, Witch's side, or if something will change and maybe they'll end back in an alliance again. Hard to say. Who should we raid? Who should we raid? Give me just a moment. I'm going to see who's on. There's plenty of options. Wow, there's a ton of people on right now. Give me just a bit. But who fits just right? Oh, you know what looks fun? I think Kane is doing some art right now, which sounds like quite a treat. I'm not sure if I've ever rated Kane before. So why don't we go there? Let's do it. Raid Nase Kane. Hopefully they aren't about to end. It doesn't look like they are, so it should be fine. Let's go. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope you are looking forward to the next session as much as I am. That will be on next Monday, probably. That's when I would look for it. Let's see. Alright, until next time, folks. Join in the raid if you want to. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I typed that wrong. Give me one moment. Here we go. Alright. See you folks again. If you're interested, I will be playing Dread Templar again on Thursday. So you've got a little bit of a break from me. But if you're interested, I'll be back on Thursday. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your Monday night.